Howdy gamers, Old Gamer Guy here. Welcome to another Endzone, a world apart video. We are slowly making our way through some tutorials. There is one long main tutorial, but I'm doing videos on these individual tutorials just to divide it up into smaller pieces. And today we are going to do the radiation and the bartering tutorials, both of them in this video because they're kind of short. So we're going to start off with radiation, and we always have this guy talking to us in these tutorials. He does have a voiceover, but I have the voiceover volume turned down just so I don't have to talk over this guy. But this video is all about radiation and protecting your citizens from that radiation. But first I'm going to go into the menu here and turn down the music just a little bit. I have everything turned up to 10. That's not the way it is by default, but that's just how I roll. So the first thing they want us to do is to look at the radiation levels in the soil. So like many games of this type, you're able to look at different types of information on the map, and the green areas are low levels of radiation. And the first thing they want us to do is to instruct our settlers to dig up the soil. This is radiation in the soil. And you can see even at this beginning stage, it's kind of edging into our camp. So let's go ahead and set up some radiation-free borders. And I'm just going to put a big area in here. Kind of outline one big square of the camp. And I think I'm going to go ahead and clear some of this other radiation up here as well. I think that should be a big enough area to get through this tutorial. So now you will see our settlers get to work on removing this radiation, and it will take them a little while, even though I will give them other tasks to do while they're doing this. But this is a post-apocalyptic world, and radiation is a problem, so we will be encountering lots of it. And now what he's saying is that we're going to need protective clothing. There are different levels of protective clothing. And cloth is one of the resources you will need to produce that clothing. So they want us to build a recycler. You probably noticed, if you're watching these videos, you've probably noticed that I'm not going into a huge amount of detail about each building. I had problems figuring out where to put this thing, just like I usually do, so I sped the video up right there. But yeah, when you click on a building, you can look at several different sub-menus, but I'm not showing all of that. I'm just doing the objectives that need to be done to get through the tutorial. But one of the things you can do when you click on the recycler is to choose what they're looking for. So by default, I think they look for cloth, but then you can also have them look for plastic. But never mind that for now. We will see a little bit more of that in a little while. Right now they want us to build a tailor shop because our first recycler is getting us some cloth. I put the recycler away from the cultivated field just because graphically it looks like it's putting pollution into the air. But the recycler looks pretty clean, so I'm going to put that right next to our cultivated field. And as it turns out, things like pollution and noise making do affect their confidence level, their contentedness level. So you do have to take those things into account in some way, but I might be I might be taking it to an extreme by putting my recycler over there. But now we have a tailor, and we have assigned a profession. We have one tailor working in that building now. So now he's saying to protect against higher levels of radiation, you will have to have better protective clothing, and cloth will not be good enough for that. If we want to make masks that have some sort of a filtration system within them, we need charcoal. So they want us to build a charcoal kiln. So once again, I'm putting way too much thought into where I should put this thing, but it didn't take me very, very long to decide, so I didn't speed the video up right there. We'll put it over here next to our little bus or van or whatever that is. That's actually the first building you have. It's not a building, but that's the first thing you have when you start survival mode. Your first settlers, I guess, have arrived in that little van, and they have some resources in that van to start you off. But now we have a charcoal kiln, and now we have somebody working in that kiln. So now we are producing charcoal. And now that we have charcoal being produced, we can produce some activated carbon masks. And so by default, the tailor makes neck scarves out of cloth, but now we have them working on carbon masks. And I guess you can't wear the scarf and the mask at the same time, so you only need one of them. And what he's saying here is that even higher levels of radiation will require plastic, and we will need the recycler to look for plastic, but we don't necessarily want to not have cloth. We need cloth for other things, I guess. So instead of reassigning our existing recycler, they want us to build a second recycler. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'll just put it right next door to the first one. We've got pollution spewing into the air because that's just what human beings do, I guess, instinctively. If we're not burping and farting or talking loudly or playing our music loudly and making noise pollution, we are spewing pollution into the air in as many ways as we can. So now we have plastic being produced in that second recycler, so now we can have our tailor work on radiation suits, which will give us the greatest amount of protection. So it looks like there are 3 levels of radiation, 3 levels of protective suit. I don't know if maybe there's another technology you get later that gives you more of those things, but right now that's the way it is. And he's just talking about how the radiation suits will keep us healthy, but we also need to do something about our water supply, because in this tutorial we start off with a cistern, but the cistern does not have any kind of filtration. So they want us to either build a water tower or upgrade the cistern into a water tower. So that's what I'm going to do here. And then once you have a water tower, you can activate a filter, which will also use the charcoal. Speed up the film a little bit here so we can have our water tower. And there it is. So now I can click on it, go down here, activate the filter, and as long as we have charcoal, then our water will be filtered. So we are already almost at the end of the radiation tutorial, but the last thing they want us to do is to build a decontamination post. The decontamination post will produce decontamination kits, and the decontamination kits will be distributed to any buildings or any areas that produce food, but also warehouses and storage type buildings will also have decontamination kits. But this is yet another building that's going to be spewing pollution. So I might as well put it over here and really concentrate our pollution on one side of town. In one of the other tutorials, they mentioned that you could cover up your water supply if there was going to be, you could cover up your rain collector if there was going to be radioactive rain, and you could cover up your cultivated fields if there was going to be radioactive rain, but oddly enough, they did not mention any of that within this tutorial, so that's kind of strange. But keep it in mind. There you can see our citizens gathered around the van. I guess we still have some resources in the van apparently. Maybe they're handing out chorizo tacos or something. I could use a chorizo breakfast taco right now actually. I could use 2 chorizo breakfast tacos. That would be ideal. That would be amazing with my coffee. But I'm getting sidetracked. We now have a decontamination station producing decontamination kits. And that is it for the radiation tutorial. So yeah, I thought this one was kind of short, and I went ahead and played the next one, which is the bartering tutorial. And the bartering tutorial is even shorter, so I went ahead and I decided to include both in this video. So here we are with another camp, starting another tutorial, and he's talking about how we need to attract vendors in order to barter a deal. So the first thing we need to do to attract vendors is to build a trading post, and then once we have a trading post, we need to assign several people to be logisticians. They will run the trading post. I don't think all buildings have workers assigned, but most of them seem to, and I don't think I pointed that out very well in the radiation part of the tutorial, but you often do have to assign workers. I will speed up time here, speed up the video until our trading post is built, and there it is. So now we can click on it and assign some logisticians. So it's only going to be a matter of time before a trader arrives. And a trader is on the way. Don't see anything on the map. I'm zoomed out all the way here looking for him. I'm running the game speed This is 2 times speed right now, and you can see a hot air balloon approaching, and that's how fast it moves at normal speed right there. But it is coming in for a landing. It looks like almost like there's a helicopter pad down there on the right side of the trading post, but this person is in a hot air balloon. So now we need to start a trade deal. Now we can look at the things that we have and the things that the trader has, and we can propose a trade. We'll go ahead and get some carbon masks. You can click on the item, then use left and right on the digital pad to change your increments. Then use up and down on the digital pad to actually choose how many units you want to include. So right there, right here, I have it on increments of 10. We're going up to 50. There we go. That would be a nice system to have in Stellaris, actually. I don't really like the way you choose your the amounts for your trade deals in Stellaris. But to get a fair deal, we can only get 3 carbon masks in exchange for 50 food and 50 water. You hit square to propose the deal. It confirmed that the deal is fair, so if I wanted to I could adjust it, but I'm going to go ahead and just go through with that deal, because once you're in that fair deal window, you can go ahead and close the deal and the deal will automatically happen. You do have to wait a little bit for the goods to be transported, and now the deal has been officially closed and the trader has flown away. So they've left the citizen, or they've left the settlement, and after a while another trader will arrive, and you could leave that random if you wanted to. But if you build an improved radio, then you can make choices about who will arrive next, and they have automatically given us that technology in this tutorial. So we can scroll through the various traders and we can see what goods they normally carry, and we can prioritize the next trader that will arrive if we want to. Looks like there are a few of them, 4 or 5 of them. But let's go ahead and choose Lizzie Rasmus, just mainly because I like the way she looks. She looks kind of like a Mad Max character. But that is it for the bartering tutorial. And that will do it for this video. I hope you are enjoying these videos. They're just kind of meant to give you a basic overview of the game, to see if you might want to play it yourself. In the next video, we will move on to expeditions. But for now, as always, thanks very much for watching.